Come along, time travelers, as we go back to the colonial time period of 1783 and before the Continental Congress. George Washington resigned as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. Some years later, in 1803, Joseph Smith was born. Joseph later became known as an American prophet whose writings, along with the Bible, provide the theoretical foundation of the Church of Jesus and Latter-day Saints and other Mormon churches. In 1815, British author Jane Austen published her fourth novel, Emma, which centers on the precocious young woman whose misplaced confidence in her matchmaking abilities occasions several romantic misadventures. The first comprehensive constitution of the Ottoman Empire went into effect, giving the Sultan full executive power in 1876. 1913 brought us the signing of the Federal Reserve Act by U.S. President Woodrow Wilson, whose Federal Reserve System came into being. And if I'm not mistaken, we still have that same Federal Reserve to this day as the FDC, or FDIC, I'm sorry. That, I want to say 90, 95, 100% of like your banks, like your Wells Fargo, your M&T, those types of banks are FDIC backed. American jazz trumpeter and violinist Chet Baker was born in 1929. He was noted for the plaintive, fragile tone of both his playing and his singing. 1941 brought us to early in World War II, invading Japan. Japanese forces defeating U.S. troops at the Battle of Wake Island. Just 2 years later, in 1943, Premier Raed Souli told the Lebanese Chamber of Deputies that France had agreed to give up her mandated controls over Syria and Lebanon on January 1st, 1944. Okay, in 1968, 82 crewmen of the USS Pueblo were released after being held in captivity for 11 months in North Korea, which claimed the U.S. Navy intelligence ship had crossed into its waters. Moving right along to 1972, American Gidron football running back Francisco Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers made the Immaculate Reception a dramatic catch that is regarded as one of the most famous plays in the NFL history. Aleksander Kowalski, formerly a pageant of Poland's ruling Communist Party, was sworn in as the country's president on this day in 1995, having narrowly defeated Les Wałęsa, Poland's first post-communist president. Moving right along to the early 21st century, in 2021, Argentina announced the suspension of payments on its external debt, the biggest debt default in history to this date. In 2013, Russian weapons designer Mikhail Kolodsky, who invented the AK-47, also known as the automatic Kolodsky Model 1947, an assault rifle that became one of the most successful and ambitious forearms of the modern era, passed away in Izhevsk, Russia. And with that, we land back in 2023 and our current history. Until tomorrow.